Hey there guys, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another series of paid requests from one of my dear friends, brother from another mother's, Efree. And he wants me to react to another trailer compilation. And again, I can't really let you guys see it because it would get copyright claimed and blocked. So, if I remember correctly and if it works out, the best bet could be maybe I'll put the mega link down below. You can feel free to download the trailers, and maybe if you download the trailers you could sync it up to watch with this, or however you want to do it. So I have it at the beginning. This is 1 hour 49 minutes and 50 seconds, and it is Efree sci-fi, fantasy, and adventure films of the 80s, which are his favorites. For those who want to follow along, and yeah, I'll try to remember to have the mega link down below to the trailers themselves. Thanks once again, Efree, my friend. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. We got Efree again talking. He says it's a final one, but I know there's one more. Sci-fi, adventure, fantasy, and adventure. Okay. It's fine, nothing to apologize for. Sci-fi, fantasy, and adventure movies. It's 1 hour and 48 minutes, it's not short. Thank you though. Thank you as well. Thank you very much. So we have the Paramount logo. 1 minute and 40 seconds in. Paramount logo. It says Star Trek. Yeah, Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan. Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan, sequel to an episode on the original series called Space Seed. Ricardo Montalban as Khan. This was an answer to Star Trek the Motion Picture, which was, I like Star Trek the Motion Picture, but people deemed it too boring, too slow. So they did Nicholas Meyer, who didn't know Star Trek, but he's like, let's make it much more of an action movie, which was handled well. Ricardo Montalban, great villain. This time he got music by James Horner instead of Jerry Goldsmith, who did the first. I mean, the stakes are definitely amped up with this. Yeah, the cast returning. Of course, memorable ending with Spock dying, which he didn't die too long because he got to part 3. I like Star Trek 2, but everyone always calls it their favorite. My favorite's 4, and actually it'd be 4, 1, 3, 6, 2, then 5. And you have that famous Kirk, I think, coming up. Buried alive. God! There you go. And this got people invested in the Star Trek again. Because I think if this film did nothing, or did like Star Trek 1, it would have been the last. But this film was such a success. In 1982, I mean, a great year. The Thing, yeah, Blade Runner, a lot of movies in 82. So we got another Paramount. Star Trek 3. This is an underrated one. People kind of knock this as, you know, in between 2 and 4. 2, 3, and 4 is a pretty much a trilogy onto itself. The reason I like Star Trek 3 is I like the interactions of the characters. Star Trek 3 to me is much more of a character movie because each crew member gets their time to shine. Leonard Nimoy gets to direct this time. He was very successful. He directed this one in Part 4. Christopher Lloyd did a great job as the Klingon. And then Part 4 was a huge hit. This was a hit. Part 4 was an even bigger hit. And then William Shatner's like, I want to do one, and that didn't end the best. Yeah, Star Trek 3 I always enjoy. I like the humor. The characters worked very well with each other. Very solid. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. At the time, I think this was the most successful Star Trek film. And my favorite of the Star Trek. You got a different composer. You don't have James Horner or Jerry Goldsmith. I know one idea was it was going to be Eddie Murphy, because he's a big star with Paramount. Star Trek films were making money Paramount. Let's combine the two. Eddie Murphy was a Star Trek fan, but they went a different direction, and Eddie Murphy did The Golden Child the same year as this came out. And I thought, I like the time travel aspect with the whales. I think the humor works very well, and it's fitting. It doesn't feel out of the blue. And this is very funny. You're a double dumbass on you, and your colorful language. Double dumbass and all this. They are not the hell your whales. And they told you. The hell they did. And also, it was fun to see this fish out of water quality with these guys. And Leonard Nimoy knew to give the other supporting cast moments. Like Chekhov being hurt and trapped, and this fact that you have this Russian during the Cold War who's caught. McCoy, the way he's just bad about the medical facilities of today. Nice environmental message, but not preachy as well. And Catherine Hicks, who will later be in Child's Play, did a good job. And kind of the final part of that trilogy of Star Trek 2, 3, and 4, where Spock dies, comes back, and then sort of regains who he fully is. Start at the end of Part 3, your name is Jim, not more so here. And Leonard Nimoy did a wonderful job, and this led to him getting 3 Men and a Baby. Star Trek 5, the much hated movie. William Shatner getting his chance to direct. Of the first 6 films, I do feel this is the weakest, but I still liked it. The special effects did not help. There's a lot of problems going on, because that was, what, 89? So you had effects guys going to Back to the Future Part 2, Indiana Jones Last Crusade, Ghostbusters 2. They were spread thin in that summer. And I never minded the idea. I mean, people get mad at the Cybok idea. I think there's editing that could be fixed. Scotty being so foolish and bumping his head, or Horror dancing naked. But I do like the interplay between Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. I think the three of them play off each other very well. It's much more of those 3 movies together. Like, those 3 actors, I mean, together. Like, it's very concentrated on the way those 3 interact from the beginning. Campfire scening to escaping, you know, the prison escape, going up the shaft. The other characters don't really have much to do. I mean, the whole thing, I don't mind them that search for God, because in the original show, there's a lot of false gods. There's many episodes where they dealt with a god of some type. Even find the Gorn, and he didn't kill him, and this ethereal figure says, oh, why did you do that? Oh, I'm really impressed. You didn't need stuff like this. Scotty don't boom. That was a bit But I do like that scene with the shaft, the going up with the because of the boots. Ugly costumes, I would say. I don't care for the costumes they wear. Much prefer the costumes they wore in the previous movies. And the fast clean-ons once again. But yeah, this is William Shatner directing, and didn't really. This is pretty much considered the weakest of the six, and box office didn't do that great. I think when you got to the ending, it was this sort of fate god. Some people felt like, what was the point of this journey? But I still liked it. Jerry Goldsmith does a beautiful job on the music once again. He came back since Star Trek the Motion Picture. I still liked it, as flawed as it is. Is this Empire Strikes Back? Or is this Return of the Jedi? Oh, Return of the Jedi. Came out the same day I was born, May 25th, 1983. So I'm a Return of the Jedi baby. It's just the next chapter. I'm surprised the trailer didn't say the final chapter. But yeah, I always liked this one. My favorite is the first one, A New Hope, and then it would be this one, then Empire Strikes Back. I love the opening at the Jabba's palace when Luke finally gets his time to shine with the lightsaber. Short-lived as it is, it was nice to see. Leia, rest in peace Carrie Fisher, especially in that outfit, looking nice. Nice to see Lando Calrissian back. I enjoy the ending fight as well between Luke and Vader, especially the music. Like the sort of choir-like music, I thought that worked very well. I know people didn't like... Harrison Ford wanted to get killed off. I agree with George Lucas. Don't kill him off, and I think it worked better that way. I know a lot of people don't like the Ewoks. I can understand the complaints on the Ewoks. The original idea was a Wookiee planet, but they just couldn't force it out of the Ewoks. And you're going to a Death Star yet again. But like, that's a cool shot, all the TIE fighters going toward, and I know this got 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert, and I think at the time people thought it was a satisfying finale. But as years come along, it's gotten a little bit of... Like, Richard Marquand, that was a strange choice. I think, like, they just got Richard Marquand because they got someone who didn't have much power. Ah, Kroll. I do like Kroll. Kroll is better than every Disney Star Wars film ever made, combined. I love the sound of those creatures, the way they die. It's such a unique sound. Weird, creepy yell. I do think this is a bad trailer for the film. I do. I think the trailer... I don't care for the music they use. In retrospect... Oh, there's Liam Neeson. We just saw. They should have used the music from the movie. Like, can you imagine this trailer, but you have that... which is a fantastic James Horner music from this movie. I love the design of the beast. And the fact it's up close and you don't quite get a good look at him. I love the look of these. I mean, they kind of remind people of stormtroopers, but I still like the design. I love the glaive. That's like all the glaive gets used is what you saw. And then when him hits the beast a little bit. Like, you just saw all the glaive being used. The glaive should have been used a lot more. Always wanted one of my own glaive, but... Yeah, I think the trailer would have been better if it was different music, but I still like the film. That came out 1983 as well. Got overshadowed by Return of the Jedi. Huh. Footage shot just for the trailer. Space Hunter, huh. I haven't seen this film. I have heard of it. Oh, Peter Strauss. Wow, Molly Ringwald. would be in The Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink and other John Hughes movies. Is that Michael? I think that's Michael Ironside in that makeup, who's a great actor. I think Tim Thomerson's in this too. Could be wrong. I think. Oh no, that's Metal Storm I'm thinking of. Destruction of Jaredson or whatever. Yeah, this is different. Yeah, this is when 3D films had a heyday for about 10 minutes. You get Jaws 3D, Friday the 13th Part 3D. This was in 3D. The Metal Storm movie was 3D. It didn't quite catch on. I mean, Friday the 13th Part 3 did well. Jaws 3D did okay, but other than that, they didn't really catch on well at this time, 3D movies. I haven't seen the film, so I can't tell much else about it, but The Last Starfire, I could tell from the music. Lance Guest. By this point, he was in the original Halloween 2. He would be in a few other films. Later on, he was in Late Phases and other stuff, but this is definitely the film. Jaws 4 he was in, but this is definitely the film that... It's sad this film didn't do that well when it came out. It's a fun idea. I mean, it's a relatable idea. You're trapped in the middle of nowhere. You want to escape and do more with your life, but you're stuck. So what if you play this video game, and because you dread the video game, lo and behold, you get this opportunity to be a starfighter. Like, playing a video game is the sort of test into becoming this larger-than-life adventure. The early stages of these type of effects, so maybe they don't hold up the best, but there's still a charm to them, and it has a good heart to it. I mean, Lance Guest is very likable because his reactions are understandable. The way he reacts to all this crazy sci-fi stuff is kind of how we would react. And directed by Nick Castle, who was, for quite a few scenes, the original Michael Myers in the original Halloween. And Nick Castle would go on to direct Dennis the Menace live-action movie, I was going to say The Last Starfire, no shit. Major Payne, and Catherine Mary Stewart, who would later be in Night of the Comet, among others, but I'm sure trying to capitalize on successive sci-fi films like the Star Wars movies, but love that score. Wonderful score. For anyone who imagined going beyond the stars. I think that's why the movie has an appeal for many decades later is, I think for a lot of people, they wish to have experienced that. They wish to have experienced that opportunity, the main character, so you live vicariously through the main character to experience what he went through. Ah, yes, this is Outland, I could tell. Directed by Peter Hyams, not John Hyams, but Peter Hyams. Underrated director. Did 2010 the remake Contact with Roy Scheider. He did Running Scared with Billy Crystal, Stay Tuned with John Ritter, The Relic, End of Days. I love Outland. High Noon, the Western, but put in outer space. It's my favorite Sean Connery film. I think Sean Connery worked well in this role. It was interesting to see him in the sci-fi. Rest in peace, Sean Connery. Rest in peace, Peter Boyle. Definitely one of my favorite Peter Hyams films. End of Days, probably my favorite, but this is up there. I love the used future. Like, this could take place in the same universe as Alien. I love that aesthetic. I love the design of the suits and even the score. Like, the score has almost that alien, serious feel to it. Got a little bit of blood, gore in it, where people get, you go into the airlock and you don't have a suit. a lot of bad things will happen. But I loved having this idea utilized with the sci-fi aesthetic. I think it worked very well. And this film deserved to be a lot bigger hit than it did. You did some nice shotgun fun. You got Sean Connery playing a very likable character where he's doing his job and he wants to do his job the best and no one will help him. He has deputies that don't want anything to do with him, or nobody, like all these people in here, they either don't like him or they don't want to help or they're too scared. And so it's down to mainly him and him only, except the female, I forgot the actress's name. Is it Frances? Yeah, I love the bit of dialogue that Sean Connery has. Sort of what he's trying to prove by staying here and not just going home to his family. Remember, this has a good tagline too. I think you'll say it in the trailer. Sort of takeoff on Alien. Frances Sternhagen, that's the female Dr. Elbs. Yeah, the ultimate enemy is still man. Which is the takeoff of the Alien tagline. But I love Outland. Classic movie. Teach their own. I'm not really a fan of this movie, Enemy Mine. I did a review of it. It's still up. I don't think this film's as good as people make it out to be. I think the film seems weirdly edited. It feels like there's stuff missing. It feels like you don't really get a good sense of time as to how long they've been together. I don't think you really get a good sense of them being friends, because they hate each other for so long. Then it seems like, okay, here's a few moments, now they're friends, and then, oh, now he's dead, and then the second half feels like a new movie. Like the second half kind of feels like a sequel. I like Dennis Quaid. I like Louis Gossett Jr., but I don't know, I just didn't find the film that funny or that exciting as other people made it out to be. It's like, we're enemies. Then all of a sudden we're friends. Then it's like, well, a lot of skip time in between. And even like the set design, the way the film looks, I don't think that's great. Compared to other sci-fi films, like some of the Star Trek films, and even, Last Starfighter, like some of this other stuff, it just, the vistas didn't really blow me away. Like Wolfgang Peterson, I prefer Air Force One, and I'd probably even say Neverending Story above this. But I know a lot of people love it. I don't love Enemy Mine. I just don't. Return to Oz. Decent movie. Interesting that they decided to make this reality, considering how popular Wizard of Oz is, and it's a risky venture to go ahead with the darker storyline. Like, people think it's Wizard of Oz, and then you have a darker storyline with, other than Dorothy, you have different characters. Like the Cowardly Lion is frozen, and the Tin Man, all that. But very cool special effects. Like I said, it's ballsy and it's interesting the different approach they took to this. But yeah, I think because of that, people thought, well, what the hell are you doing a sequel? It's a bit too late for that, and what the hell are you doing with it? And I think people were just either confused or perplexed as to what the hell this film was, and there were people that didn't like it, like, how could you desecrate Wizard of Oz? Well, I think it's a decent enough sequel. I'll speak to a never-ending story. Which is a fucking lie, because the story does end. False advertising. Again, this, compared to the other Enemy Mine, what they previously, I thought this had more striking visuals. Like all the different variety of monsters, creatures, Felkor. Yeah, that you're seeing in the trailer, these different types of creatures. And I don't mind that song, even though they fucking used it in Stranger Things Season 3. I do like the song, Never Ending Story. And it's kind of, it's weird with films like this, because like, okay, what's real, what's not? He's reading the story, but is he imagining this in his head? Is this really happening as he's reading it? Is this like, this kid's a psycho? He's just imagining this too much? But I guess it's however you want to look into it. A very bored kid made up this whole story. He's now in a mental institution, in a straitjacket. Legend. Tom Cruise. But this is a film that has striking visuals. I mean, the look of Tim Curry's character as the devil is fantastic. And like that witch looks really cool. I mean, it's striking visuals. I know depending on which version you see, there's a different musical score. I just wanted Tom Cruise to do more or accomplish more. Compared to like Conan the Barbarian, like put Conan the Barbarian in that world of legend, he kicked everybody's ass. Let Conan the Barbarian fight fucking the Tim Curry's the devil. That'd be a hell of a fight. Like, yeah, if you put Conan the Barbarian character in the world of legend with the monsters and goblins and stuff, that'd be a hell of a fucking movie. I do like Conan the Barbarian, but I like Conan the Destroyer more. But this is a good movie. John Milius, who'd go on to direct Red Dawn. The film that pretty much brought the world to... brought Arnold Schwarzenegger to the world. I mean, this brought people's attention. I know some would say Pumping Iron, but I mean, like, a film. And then Terminator kind of made people go, okay, this guy's here to stay. It's not just Conan, it's this stuff too. James Earl Jones as the Sorcerer. This weird horny bitch. She got a bad taste of dick. It's crazy you can't find the original version of this film either. There's always the altered, extended version. You cannot find the original version of this for the life of me. Or you, anybody. I mean, yeah, I did. This one's a bit more violent than the sequel. But the sequel... There's Max von Sydow. Rest in peace. Great score, though, too. Wonderful score. A lot better than that remake of Conan. That remake with Jason Mamma Mia sucked ass. But this is great. Epic score. Basil Polidorus. Great composer. Rated PG. Is this a sequel? Conan the Destroyer? Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, this is my favorite of the Conan films. I love the team that he gets. Grace Jones, and I liked the guy, I forget his name, who's the thief, who's with him, his buddy. He was also in Joker's, one of his sidekicks in Batman, the 89 movie. Tracy Walter, I believe his name. Will Chamberlain, the basketball player, almost felt like a little bit of gauntlet with the team that you get. You got the warrior, you got the wizard, you got the thief. Well, he's not an archer, he's not super speedy. Mako, rest in peace. He was in the first one. He had more to do here. And each person has their moment to shine. And I felt like this. I don't know. I don't know if it had more action or just more of this journey. You know, not stop in the middle of this crazy wench in the first movie and stuff, but a bit more with the sword fights. I love the finale in this, where he fights this monster, and I know it's rated PG, but there's some pretty bloody stuff in this. There's sword slashes and with a bit of blood in there too. When he rips the horn off, you see the fucking thing rip right out of the monster's head, and there's blood coming out. I love this whole thing with the wizard, and I love the setting, and him breaking all the mirrors. I think the score in this is pretty good too. Enough talk. And you do see that knife go in there, so it's not as neutered as some people make it out to be. This is 80s version of PG. Yeah, I love Grace Jones in this. Again, Mako, is great to see him have more to do. Conan, the Destroyer. One of the reasons he did this is because he had the deal with Dino De Laurentiis. And then I think it was like Red Sonja, and then when it got to Raw Deal, he's like, listen dude, I don't want to do any more movies. Raw Deal, we're done. Red Sonja. I could watch Red Sonja. I don't hate it like other people do. I mean, I don't love Red Sonja, but I don't hate Red Sonja. Brigitte, she's not the best actress, but I've seen much worse, sadly enough. It really felt like they wanted this to be a Conan 3. I mean, from what I understand, Arnold was supposed to do just a cameo in this. And like the more they shot, the more he became like a bigger part of the movie. And I think Arnold was pissed off about that. I mean, Calidor is his name, but it's fucking Conan. I mean, it's pretty much, you might as well call this a Conan 3. It might as fucking well have been a Conan 3. But I like the little kid as Ernie Reyes Jr., who would be Tino in Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of Ooze, and he'd be in Surf Ninjas. That's a little kid in this. I like the bigger guy, I forget his name. He was Bluto in the Robin Williams Popeye movie. There's entertainment value to be had in this. Ernie Reyes Jr. showing a little bit of his martial arts even as a kid. Arnold and Brigitte, they weren't too bad with each other. Again, Brigitte, this is before, I guess this is before she hooked up with Stallone. But no, she probably would have been with Stallone around, I don't remember. No, probably around the same time. Because Brigitte was in Rocky 4, and this is 80. That was 85, and this is 85. So she's probably with Paul Smith. That's the guy who's Bluto and Popeye. It's all right for what it. I mean, I've seen much worse movies. I've seen much better too, though. This, The Sword and the Sorcerer. Albert Pyun, who'd gone to direct Van Damme's Cyborg, Dollman, Nemesis. This does have a Blu-ray, and I don't have the Blu-ray for this. One day I would like to get the Blu-ray of this. But I do like the film. It's got some fun effects work. That this whole evil creature that comes out, reborn at the beginning of the film. This sword is crazy. Like 3 blades, and it'll shoot like a fucking, there you go. I love that sword, man. That's a fucking, I love like the whole clashing. There's different colors, schemes coming up. You got your titties, you got your violence and gore. Like, this is the type of, okay, this type of fantasy sword and sorcery I could go with. Lord of the Rings, not really for me. This is more my cup of tea, sword and sorcery fantasy. Like Conan the Barbarian films, even your PG, I get it. Tron Destroyer, but Arnold makes it work. The lead guy, he kind of reminds me of an early Jeff Speechman with his face. The lead guy here. The way his face structure is, and sometimes the way he talks, he reminds me a little bit of Jeff Speechman. It's not Jeff Speechman, but it reminds me a bit of him. There you go. Badass sword. Was it Richard Mall as the villain? I think it is. I think this was decently successful. It helped launch Albert Pyron's career and to do films like Cyborg and other stuff. But yeah, if you like sword and sorcery movies, this is definitely worth a look. Again, I know there's a Blu-ray of it out. I do have to pick it up someday. Now, if they made more sword and sorcery fantasy films like this, I would watch more of them. But now it's all like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings stuff. I'm gonna fuck y'all up! Stage dive! Lee Horsley is the lead guy's name. Yeah, Richard Lynch is in this. May rest in peace. He was the villain in Chuck Norris's Invasion USA. Oh, Beastmaster. I think it... This is Beastmaster, right? Yeah, it is, because there's Rip Torn. And Mark Senior. The role he's always most well known for. To me, I always talk about Watchers 2 more. This, it's there. I've never been a big Beastmaster fan. I just, even then I'm like, well, I'd rather watch Conan than Beastmaster. Or Conan Destroyer than Beastmaster. I did with Mark Senior is I prefer Watchers 2. I mean, I get the appeal of a guy who can control animals and use the animals to do his work. You got the ferrets that help steal shit. Yeah, part of that sword and sorcery success that Conan the Barbarian helped spark a lot of these movies. And then there's Beastmaster 2. Did Beastmaster 2 ever get an actual release? Like on DVD or Blu-ray? And then there's Beastmaster 3. So yeah, I think there are 3 Beastmaster films. I think there was a TV show, but I don't think it had Mark Senior in it. I don't think. I can't think of like Watchers 2. Like Mark Senior, you didn't really see him in a whole lot of movies, like other than V, the TV show. But it's not like you have like a top 10 favorite Mark Senior movies. There's just not much of them. Tanya Roberts, may she rest in peace. Rip Torn, may he rest in peace. Lucasfilm. Willow? Yeah, it's Willow. Which I know they're doing a TV show now. There's a trailer online, Disney Plus, that I don't give a rat's ass about. It's like, okay, there's Willow himself, but here's a lot of other people to get that checklist. Got this person, we got this person. I think we got 2 lesbians as well. And a partridge in a pear tree. And Val Kilmer, I mean, he's so sick now because of his health. I mean, I think he's one of those guys that he's just very... He's not doing great with health-wise. They say Val Kilmer will be in it, but I don't know how he's going to be in it. And if so, is that going to be of any noteworthy physicality? Willow I don't mind. The music is great. I like some of the monster designs. I wish the movie was Matt Mardigan's movie, because I like him more than Willow. I think I never really got it. I couldn't really put it together. Willow's okay. It's just I like Matt Mardigan that much more. I'm like, I just want the movie to be about Matt Mardigan going against all this stuff. So it's like the Val Kilmer, Matt Mardigan stuff is just that much more fun and exciting and satisfying to watch. But the Willow stuff just didn't do much for me. With Val Kilmer, of course George Lucas gets his name first, even though he didn't direct it. Yeah, Warwick Davis, who worked as an Ewok among others in Star Wars, got the role here. It didn't do that well. That's why there's no Willow 2. But now there's a TV show. I wouldn't be surprised if that Willow show only lasts 1 year. Would not be surprised. I talk funny? I'm from your mom's church. That's what I meant. But the film that launched Christopher Lambert's career, or some people call him Christophe Lambert, a Highlander, Russell Mulcahy film. Russell Mulcahy had directed films like Razorback, which I think is an underrated killer animal film. Christopher Lambert, Russell Mulcahy would work together on Highlander 2, and they would do Resurrection, very underrated film, which is in the tradition of Seven, where Christopher Lambert and this guy, Leland Orser, they're two cops looking for the killer that's the body of Jesus Christ, putting together this killer. It's funny you watch this, all of a sudden, there's wrestling! What the fuck does wrestling come from? There's WWF. I like the first Highlander. Christopher Lambert works well for what role he needs to play. Sean Connery. Clancy Brown is the villain. He's having a lot of fun. Then you have Michael Ironside in the second film. I actually like the second film the most, and people get pissed at that. But I like this film, but the second film, I like the future setting. And I like the musical score. Although I love the Queen music in this, though. Princes of the Universe, among others. Now here's the thing where people don't know about Christopher Lambert. He's kind of blind. He has very poor eyesight, so it's funny how many fucking movies he has these sword fights in when he doesn't have the best eyesight. So it's just ironic. There to be only one. Yeah. Yeah, that Queen soundtrack helped a lot too. In selling the movie. Like, oh, what the fuck is it? Queen? You songs by Queen? Cool. Like Flash Gordon. But I like Highlander 2, particularly the Renegade cut. I like the future setting. That's just more appealing to me. But first two Highlander films is all you needed. Oh, I think, is this a fan trailer? Highlander 2? No? Highlander 2 is the 90s. Oh, so this is a fan trailer of the first Highlander. Okay, so we have another trailer for Highlander 1. So this is a fan trailer someone did. Using another Queen song during it. Not badly edited. But yeah, Highlander only needed 2 movies. You didn't need... Or maybe this is an anniversary trailer. Maybe it's not a fan trailer. This is like an anniversary trailer. Like maybe a re-release or Blu-ray or something else. But Highlander 3 is so-so. Highlander 4 is abysmal. Highlander the Source is the fucking worst of them all. I don't think you even need the TV show. To me, technically all you need is one movie, but because there could be only one, and now there's one. Well, if there's only one, why the fuck are there so many more? There's always one, then he wins, but then there's like 50 more. So how the fuck is there only one, and then there's only one, then there's like 50 fucking more? What the fuck? What the fuck's going on? There could be only one my ass. Then the TV show, there's like 100 of them. How the hell did he get the prize then? Like, how do the movies relate to the show if he got the prize and there can be only one? At the end of the first movie, he got the prize that there will be only one. But then there's like 100 fucking more. How the fuck does that work? Psst. I guess a lot of them came out in the last, from Highlander 1 to whatever the fuck, whatever. Cool music. This is like a remix version of it. I wonder where this music is at. Like this version. I like the editing of that. That's pretty cool. Flash Gordon. Speaking of Queen music. Yeah, this is not the original trailer. This is a newer trailer for it. It makes sense to use this song like this. Well edited. The 4K version. Like a fairy tale set in a discotheque. Sam Jones, which wasn't his voice. Melody Anderson, who would be in Firewalker. Timothy Dalton, who would later be James Bond. Wannabe Skeletor. Oh, just live. Flash Gordon's a fun movie. Camp, very campy, but entertaining and satisfying. Damn, that 4K had a lot of shit with it. Damn. Masters Universe. Yeah, I mean, let me put it this way. If I reviewed this now, it would not be a rant. This is a fuckload better than what Kevin Smith did to He-Man. This is more of a He-Man story worth of shit than what Kevin fucking Smith did. I still don't like the fact we go to Earth. But I mean, hell, Sonic the Hedgehog did that, and I like Sonic the Hedgehog. But just I remember the cartoon, and Canon did this just a lot cheaper. Frank Langella was a great Skeletor, and I know it's one of his favorite roles. Dolph Lundgren, I thought he made for a good He-Man. He had the right look, he had the right physique. I don't understand Stallone. What was the thing on that documentary of Canon? Hey yo, you gave that guy lines? I mean, come on, Sly. People are making fun of you with how you do lines. What are you doing, man? I think Dolph, for his step to leading man, he did an admirable job. It's just, no one wanted to see He-Man on Earth. But great story by Bill Conti. Like that sword fight they had to do last minute. That's why you don't really see the background. Never cared for that gold look Skeletor had. I wish they had the sword fight in the actual Skeletor. And Gary Goddard, I heard he did stuff with kids. He's a diddler. So, that's what I've heard. And that's the case. Fuck Gary Goddard. Sicko. Superman. Is Superman 2? Yeah. Good sequel. Definitely a good sequel. Now, this is going to be controversial, but I like the original I like the release version better. I do not like Richard Donner's cut. I know when Richard Donner was making the film, he was making Superman 1 and 2, but I liked this stuff with the Eiffel Tower. I think it was great to see, Superman do something heroic to start the movie off. That's a great line for Christopher Reeve. The Richard Donner cut was just lame. I didn't care for the way Lois Lane found out who Superman was in the Richard Donner cut. I like the Eiffel Tower opening. You take out the best line, General. Would you care to step outside? You take that out in the Richard. When that line was gone in the Richard Donner cut, that was the final straw. There were other issues I had with it, but I'm like, okay. But when I saw the Richard Donner cut, I'm like, wait, you take out this line, which is General. Would you care to step outside? I mean, it's in the fucking trailer. They even knew it was cool when they put in the fucking trailer that line. So I take the original. I take the theatrical cut. I'm not a fan of the Richard Donner cut. Terrence Stamp and the three villains, great foes for Superman. Entertaining fight. Superman doing the best he can. Christopher Reeve, you say he was born to play that role. A worthy sequel. Big hit when it came out. And yeah, the adventure continues. I didn't mind what the director brought to it. But I would say I like Superman 1 more. And I like Superman... Speaking of which, I was just going to say... Superman 3, right? Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. I fucking love Superman 3. Yes, it's goofy and it's more comedic, but man, it's entertaining. And dare I say, it's my second favorite Superman movie. It's Superman the movie, then this one. You like it more than Superman 2? Yes. I like Superman 2. I like this film more. I love Richard Pryor in it. He's very entertaining. I love his character of Gus. I can't see. I know it's over the top, but I'm still laughing right here. I love the killer computer at the end. I know Robert Vaughn is playing another type of Lex Luthor, but it was still nice to see a different villain. I love this whole computer aspect. And then you get that really creepy notion of the one lady turning to this creepy looking robot android thing. I love the Superman being evil segment, especially with Clark Kent and Superman having their fight. To me, it's one of the best things in the Superman movie. The junkyard of Clark and Superman fighting. It was nice to see Christopher Reeve do something a bit different with Supes. To be the asshole evil guy. And I love the Clark Kent Superman stuff is cool. So to kill Superman, and you couldn't do that one simple thing. Hey, if there's people that can like Batman Forever, then I can like Superman 3. I'll put it there. Batman Forever is goofy as well. But if people can like Batman Forever, I'll like Superman 3, gladly. And there were comics like that. I mean, hell, there was a comic where Superman fought Muhammad Ali. There's a lot of different types of Superman comics. It's like Ninja Turtles. I love Ninja Turtles 2 series. Yes, it's silly and goofier. But I thought it worked well, and it's kind of the same thing. The first Ninja Turtles were more serious. Turtles 2 is more goofy. Superman the movie is more serious. This was more goofy, but they're still entertaining in their own right. Different reasons, but they're still entertaining in their own right. And Christopher Reeve, just like the Turtles in those movies, Christopher Reeve still held his own, and I love the addition of Richard Pryor. I know it was a paycheck. He said he was a fan of Superman, but... And, he was a box office guy, doing films like The Toy and other stuff, and they got him in there. It did okay box office-wise, but... Now, I know my friend Efree loves this movie. He loves Superman. That's cool, bro. You can love Superman 4. That's fine. He loves this movie. It's his favorite Superman movie. It's not his favorite Superman movie, to be fair. It's not his favorite, but he does like it. I am not a fan of this movie. I think this film sucks. I think this film is terrible. I think it's awful in every inconceivable and conceivable way. The special effects are garbage. Using Gene Hackman yet again. It's like, really? You just use him in the first two? You use him again? Nuclear Man is such a stupid, goofy, Chippendale-looking villain. For some reason, by the power of his mind, he can rebuild walls. Where the fuck did that come from? How do you rebuild walls with the power of your mind? When the fuck did Superman do that? Nuclear Man makes no sense. He's a clone of Superman, but he looks nothing like Superman. He doesn't sound like Superman. He doesn't talk like Superman. He doesn't... He's a clone of Superman because they use Superman's hair, which somehow they cut with scissors, even though it's holding like all this ton of weight, but yet it cuts the string, I should say. There's a string it cuts. But somehow that string was more powerful to hold this hair, which holds this 50-pound... Fuck the hair, that string's pretty powerful too. I hate Superman 4. I hate it. The quest for shit, the quest for cash. But what thorny am I? Supergirl. I'll take Supergirl over Superman 4. At least it's got some beautiful music. I like Helen Slater. This has a lot of issues too. It's pretty campy. The action scenes are not that great. I mean, there's some cool looking stuff, but you can tell that the creativity or the action is just like this whole thing with this construction vehicle demolishing stuff. I'm like, okay, we're really getting low on the totem pole now. I still like Helen Slater. She's a big part of the appeal. I mean, you tell they try to put a bit more budget in this compared to, like, Canon, what did with Superman 4. But I don't know, just... I could work okay, but this love story does not work. Hart Bochner, he's a lot better as Ellis in Die Hard. Hans, Bubby, I'm your white knight. But Hart Bochner just did not work. And I thought the finale was kind of weak. The finale was like, I don't know about this finale, man. Yeah, this ending, I don't know. It seems like that monster they stole from Kroll. Like, they stole the beast from Kroll and they put it in Supergirl. And Peter O'Toole at times felt like he was fucking drunk. And Mia Farrow, it's like, why is she even in this? Margaret Clord linked it up with Superman movies. Helen Slater and the musical score is definitely the two biggest positives of the movie. I mean, I could watch Supergirl. I can enjoy it. It's fucked a little better than Black Widow. It's fucked a little... I'll watch it over Wonder Woman. I'll say Supergirl I'll watch over Wonder Woman and Black Widow. Swamp Thing. What is it, 1982? Directed by Wes Craven. That guy there with the red bandana, he was one of the bad guys in the original Last House on the Left. Sadly, he's no longer with us. He's saying the road leads to nowhere. We have Adrienne Barbeau, who's in John Carpenter's The Fog. I think somehow that helped her get the role for this. I'm not a fan of this movie. The costume for Swamp Thing sucks so much. It's awful. Like, the costume just so shitty looking. This kid, I like this kid. He's not a great actor, but he's unique. Like the way he's like, oh shit, there goes neighborhoods. Just the way they, oh shit. This has a fun commentary though. I will say, this has a fun commentary. with Wes Craven and Sean Clark. The commentary for this is a lot of fun. I have it somewhere. I don't know where I have it, but it'd be fun to listen to the commentary with this again. Oh shit! There goes the neighborhood. I think I'm just not a big fan of Swamp Thing, the movie. I'll probably put the sequel above it. Oh, this Miramax Films. Oh, this is a sequel? Yeah. I reviewed this recently. I just reviewed this recently. Yeah, I think the suit is much better in this. I still think this is Lee Majors as the voice. It fucking sounds like him. And he was going out with, I think, the girl here. Luis Jordan comes back, even though he died and was turned to a monster. Well, he turned to a monster and died in this first film. But the suit is so much better, that helps. I swear, some of this is not in the movie, some of this action. It's definitely much more tongue-in-cheek, much more of a comedic version. Hey, come on, you got Born on a Bayou in the movie and in the trailer. Dick Durock in the suit again, just like he was on the TV show. I do like the two kids in this as well. I wish it was more about him and the kids and less about this love story yet again. This love story. I'm like, we just had the love story in the first movie. It's like, again. But yeah, Heather Locklear. I mean, it's campy. It's fun for what it is. I don't love it, but it is what it is. Ah, Batman, 89. Batman. What no more can be said about this? Tim Burton, I love the aesthetic of Gotham City. Jack Nicholson as the Joker is a lot of high energy. Michael Keaton does a wonderful job, in my opinion, as Bruce and Batman. He looks great in the suit. He's not a martial arts guy or anything, but I think he fit the suit well, taking Batman more serious. Because by this point, Batman was just known more so for the Adam West TV show. So it's like, let's make Batman a bit more serious. And people were pissed at the cast of Michael Keaton. Mr. Bomb? What the fuck? But he proved them wrong. And Tim Burton, I mean, by this point he just did Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I'm Batman. Like, that right there told the audience this guy will work. And just Jack Nicholson having a ball. And they kind of follow the formula of Superman the movie. You get a newer guy, Christopher Reeve or Michael Keaton. You got a big star, Marlon Brando. Gene Hackman here. You got Jack Nicholson as your villain. And he's still my favorite Joker. You get a load out of me. Great laugh. I think Nicholson's still proud of the film, too. He was in the DVD stuff, talking about the film positively. And, I mean, ruled the summer of '89. There's a lot of big movies, but Batman ruled them. Took control, and that's why you had films like The Rocketeer, Darkman, The Shadow, Dick Tracy, all these films come out in the 90s because of the success of Batman. Tron. Now, Tron is an interesting movie or a story where, when I first saw it, I guess I didn't quite get the movie. Like, are there real beings living in the electronic bases that he's reacting to? And is he reacting to these real life beings? Is this from an alien or something? But I didn't quite get the gist of Tron. I did, he went to a computer, but why are these computer things alive? And okay, they're programs, but you know, I did a bit more as it goes on. The effects are charming to watch. Definitely ahead of its time for Disney. Way ahead of its time. I think Siskel and Ebert gave some good notices to I think some good notices to this. It's funny, I remember when Tron Legacy came out, because it was a newer film and enjoying the visual aesthetics. Oh, cool, Tron Legacy. Because I didn't have any heart. I didn't grow up with the original Tron. But I've seen Tron more times than the Legacy, and the way Tron Legacy, the way it handles the Tron character, which is the name of the fucking movie, is very piss poor. Like, he's not in the movie, then he shows up, then he dies 3 minutes later. I'm like, what the fuck? Wow, they did The Last Jedi before Last Jedi? Wow. And there's no Tron 3. But yeah, I mean, the music, the way the film looks, the aesthetic. Anyway, it has an actual ending. You didn't even need another Tron film. I like the way it ends too, where the three people hug, and then it's the way the cityscape, and the cityscape kind of looks like a grid. Tron is a good film. It was ahead of its time. It took a risk. When Disney was willing to take a risk. Better times. Better decade. Is this Starman? I think this might be Starman. Or is this Fly the Navigator? No, it's Starman. I remember that. Beautiful movie starring Jeff Bridges, who got an Oscar nomination for this. Great love story. And it showed that John Carpenter, Karen Allen loved her ever since Raiders of the Lost Ark. Karen Allen and Jeff Bridges worked well together. Jeff Bridges, this guy, he's an alien, but he's trying to act human. So it's, how does that, how do you accomplish that? Beautiful musical score. And like I said, a great love story. And John Carpenter did this because he did The Thing, and it was such a huge bomb, and critics roasted him, that he's like, okay, he does. And then he got fired from Firewalker. He did Christine to help get a box office hit. And then he did this going, okay, you want a nice alien? I'll give you a fucking nice alien. And he made a movie that I think is better than E.T. Starman. And those two guys, one of them is Richard Jaco, who's in Grizzly in the 70s. And the other guy is Charles Martin Smith. He would go on to be a director of 50-50 with Peter Weller. Yeah, Starman. Wonderful love story. And it showed that John Carpenter had range. He could do horror, he could do action on PG-13, but this showed he could do a sci-fi love story, and it worked wonderfully. Beautiful music too. I mentioned that, but I'll mention it again. Oh, is this Splash? There's Ron Howard's dad. And of course, this is a Ron Howard film. And he would do Cocoon and all this stuff, but Tom Hanks and, yeah, John Candy. Rest in peace, John Candy. This is a film where Tom Hanks falls in love with a fish. A fish called Wanda. No, not really. Falls in love with a mermaid. Which is such a weird concept when you say that out loud. Like, okay, it's about a guy, and he falls in love with a mermaid. And like, what the fuck? Really? I'm sure you look at this idea, like, how the hell is this film going to work? But, I mean, it's a pretty decent film. Splash. You got Daryl Hannah, who's easy to look at. Yeah. Yeah, just one little problem. Well, I mean, if she has legs out of the water, then it's not really that big of a deal. You just don't go swimming. So again, it's like, what's the big deal? Just don't go swimming. It all works out. It's not like we'll have to be back to the water by... It's been a while since I've seen Splash. I don't remember it as well as other films. Again, I can't really sit here and say, oh, I remember this film and then some, but it definitely was a surprise hit. And there's like a sequel, I think, that no one fucking watched. For good reason. Yeah, but this one was a hit and helped Ron Howard's career flourish. Oh, this is big. Yeah. This is a film that nowadays is viewed in a controversial light because, you know, this kid is underage, and then, you know, he grows up to be an adult, but technically he's underage in spirit. And then people say, oh, well, technically this underage guy, a kid, you know, had sex with some people and did this, and he had sex with this woman under false pretenses, and it was people defending the Wonder Woman 84. Where Wonder Woman, Chris Pine, he took over a body and then they had sex. It's like, well, technically, he had sex with this woman under false pretenses, and technically he's an underage kid, and that's how creepy it is. And I'm like, if you say so. I don't mind Big. I mean, I like it more than Like Father, Like Son, or vice versa, some of those other more apparent body switching movies, but, you know, Tom Hanks does do a good job. John Hurd, may he rest in peace. I would say with Tom Hanks films, I prefer more of The Burbs, Castaway, Forrest Gump, maybe even The Money Pit. But this was a huge hit. This got him into the limelight. This was a huge box office hit. It's a lot better than films he was doing before, like Mazes and Monsters, about the evils of Dungeons and Dragons. And you'd have other films try to do this, like Jack with Robin Williams, and just not as successful. 10 films. Keep forgetting Mannequin is 10 in films. I keep forgetting that. So yeah, Andrew McCarthy, Tim Cattrall, Misha Taylor, may he rest in peace, as Hollywood. Again, back in the day, you would have these crazy plots like this film, Weekend at Bernie's, things of that nature, that you just went with. I mean, I guess when you look at films later on, when they try and weird films like The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider, and all these movies where, you know, hey, crazy plots worked back in the day. But these films had a certain charm to them. That 80s flavor. That just, it was the right time, the right decade, the right place. Andrew McCarthy did a good job. Then you got G.W. Bailey as your villain, who was pretty much playing almost the same type of character he played in Police Academy. Misha Taylor, he would be one of the few that came back from Mannequin 2. But Andrew McCarthy, Tim Turturro worked well. I love the song. Great song at the theme. Short Circuit. Love Short Circuit. Came out in my favorite movie here, 1986, because you had Aliens and Big Trouble in Little China, Cobra, all that stuff. And Steve Guttenberg was on a roll. I mean, you gotta think, with Steve Guttenberg, people forget how big of a movie star he was. Where he was in Police Academy films, the first 4 being hits. Cocoon was a hit. 3 Men and the Baby was a huge hit. And the year before 3 Men and the Baby, this was a hit. And directed by John Badham, who did Saturday Night Fever. You have Ali Sheedy, who is in The Breakfast Club. And I love the Johnny Five character. I love the voice that was used for the character. I love the sequel as well. Johnny Five was just a character that a lot of us liked as a kid, wanted to befriend, and believed it was alive based on the way these effects were utilized. And in a weird way, think of films like even Sonic the Hedgehog and these other movies today. You see a little bit of this where you have the human characters, but then you have your unhuman character. Come and follow me. Yeah, it was a nice box office hit. Same writers who were going to write Tremors. S.S. Wilson and company. Love Short Circuit. Sequel was great too. Short Circuit needs a better Blu-ray. Oh yeah, Short Circuit 2 was 88? I keep thinking it was a 90s movie, but yeah, Short Circuit 2 is fantastic. It's hard for me to pick which I like more, 1 or 2. They both have their merits. This actually, Siskel Ebert did not give 2 thumbs up to the first one, but they gave it to this one. Because this is a surprise. I mean, Johnny Five looks even better because the technology arose in the coming years after the first film. So Johnny Five, they were able to do more. That's why you've seen a lot more of him on camera. Plus, you've seen him already. There's some ballsy stuff. I mean, Johnny Five getting killed. I mean, close to death and getting beaten up was a heartbreaking scene. And ballsy to do at that time. Some of the jokes, like, kick your balls into outer space. You get much more Johnny Five wanting to be a human, wanting to be a civilian. I do wish Steve Guttenberg came back. I think it was a mistake for him saying no. I think he even admits it was a mistake to say no. Yeah, the finale, I Need a Hero, where he gets to be a bit of an action hero. You know, the look where he kind of rebuilds himself. Very good underrated sequel. Definitely up there in the list of underrated sequels. You know, directed by Kenneth Johnson. He did a wonderful job with it. Same writers. Yeah, Short Circuit 1 and 2 need better U.S. Blu-rays. I think there's a Blu-ray of Short Circuit 2 somewhere overseas, but it needs much more features and much more stuff to it. Harry and the Hendersons, which I'm a big fan of. This is one of those childhood favorites I grew up with. William Deere, I believe is the director's name, and John Lithgow. Excellent creation by Rick Baker, which I think is one of Rick Baker's favorite creations is Harry. Played by Kevin Peter Hall, who played the Predator in Predator 1 and 2. He played Harry. And in a weird way, it was Alf the TV show. It says, I wish came first, the chicken or the egg. I imagine Alf, but a lot taller. And John Lithgow is Willie Tanner. You have the nosy neighbors. You have the creature being found out and hunted or taken to be dissected. Don Amici there, who is in Cocoon. And they do a smart job here. They don't give away Harry in the trailer. They don't give it away because they want you to see it for yourself in the fucking theater. Don't give it away. There were no internet, so you just see the entire movie and the designs. No, you want to see the movie and then you get that ooh shit surprise. Love Harry and the Hendersons. Great movie. Great family film. Inner Space. And they're using the music from the Goonies. I just realized they're using music from the Goonies. But yeah, Joe Dante film. After Gremlins, Joe Dante had like a bad luck of... The Burbs maybe did okay. This was a bomb. And they put a lot of special effects, budget into this. Because you have really nice looking miniature effects. I think it looks really cool going through Martin Short's bloodstream. I love the way that looks. I'm possessed. It's weird, Dennis Quaid, Martin Short, they're not on screen much together because of circumstances, but they work well as a team. Has that quirky sense of humor, like a lot of Joe Dante's work. And I know Joe Dante hated the marketing on this. He hated the posters. He hated the trailers. I mean, I don't mind the trailer to this. Even the... I mean... I don't know how else you would market it, to be honest. Sally just one of those films that fell through the radar and didn't do anything. Didn't deserve the bomb. Sadly, that happens every year. There's always films that don't deserve the bomb. And there's films that deserve the bomb that make money for some fucking reason. Ah, yes. This is old Jab Burr Pork Chop Express taught whoever's listening out there. Really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we, Wayne? No horseshit. Love, love, love Big Trouble in Little China. Jab Burton. The Thing is my favorite film of Kurt Russell, but this is my favorite character of Kurt Russell. I love the Jab Burton character. I wish we could have seen more of the character in movies. James Hahn, Victor Wan. Victor Wan is our good guy, Aid Shin. James Wan is our villain. James Hahn. Victor Wan, good guy. James Hahn, bad guy. They both would be in Golden Child the same year. At one point, John Carver's going to direct the Golden Child, but he's like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. His own movie. Written by W.D. Richter, who worked on Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. Love the humor. Multiple great one-liners. Love that Kurt Russell had this John Wayne date to him. John Wayne flavor to him, but he was really the sidekick. And Dennis Dunn was really the hero. Way ahead of his time with martial arts. And Gait as in G-A-I-T. This way, his personality. Hell Comes to Fraud Town. Rest in peace to Mr. Roddy Piper. Rest in peace, man. You also have Sandal Bergman, who was in... She was in Conan the Barbarian. This is a movie that I do wish there was a bigger budget to it. They have more action scenes, fight scenes. But it's quirky sense of humor, and Roddy Piper's committed. I know he wasn't really proud of the film, although he did do a interview for the Arrow Blu-ray, which is surprising. But yeah, I know he wasn't the most gung-ho about the film, but he was committed. He was having a lot of fun with this. He was having a ball with this movie. You could tell. I mean, it seemed like it, I should say. It seemed like it was his performance. Maybe he wasn't in real life, but it seemed like he was. I think it showed that he could be a good leading man with a sense of humor. His sense of humor, I think, worked very well. Damn, they gave away the ending. The sword and fight with the one weird dude. I even don't mind some of the fraud effects. I did for his low budget. Hell Comes to Fraud Town. I mean, you want to see more of shotgun blasting action from Roddy Piper, besides the budget. But still a pretty decent film. Entertaining movie. Ah, yes, heavy metal. Love heavy metal. Great anthology. It is an anthology movie. I love the animation style. I love the stories. My favorite is between the first one with the cab driver or Den with John Candy. I love the look. I love the music, the soundtrack. Sammy Hagar, just fantastic soundtrack. It's definitely a trailer that gets your blood pumping. And Ivan Reitman had a hand in producing this. Rest in peace, Ivan Reitman. Love heavy metal. I know there's a show called, or something called Love, Sex, and Robots, which is kind of like a spiritual sequel to this, which I haven't seen. But come on, it's like, one way to the paradox, call it heavy metal noise. Love heavy metal. You don't have movies like that anymore. Black Sabbath, Devo, Blue Oyster Cult, Cheap Trick, Sammy Hagar, Journey, Stevie Nicks. Love it. Love the movie. Oh. Boo! Sorry, I don't like Transformers the movie. I like the soundtrack, but I don't like the movie. I don't. I don't like that they kill Optimus Prime so fucking early. Fuck Judd Nelson's character. It's his fault. I thought Judd Nelson's character was a lame replacement for Optimus Prime. And then like, oh, let's kill off all these characters people like so we can sell more new toys. Some of them you could kill off to showcase the villainy of the villain. The danger. Okay. But not like almost all of them. And then don't kill off Optimus Prime. Let him get the comeback. I don't care about the Dare to Be Stupid scene. John Nelson's character I didn't give a shit about. Optimus Prime, like him getting killed off, and then this whole Dare to Be Stupid sub-story with these fucking characters. I'm like, really? We kill Optimus Prime to get to this shit? Good soundtrack. But yeah, fuck that movie. Fuck Transformers the movie. G.I. Joe, okay. Because at least you got Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, they kind of did the same. Well, they didn't do the same thing because they didn't kill all the Joes. They're just captured. And then, okay, you got Don Johnson. It's funny, this is like the opening of the film, so it's not really showing the movie, it's just showing the opening. It's a great opening. But that doesn't really tell what the movie is. Like, if you watch this and you think this is what the movie is, you're going to be disappointed. Like, there's the villain, like Burgess Meredith. Which is cool, and... Well, that was a Burgess Meredith, but Burgess Meredith is in the film. He's not that character, but... But the fact that you don't have Joe... Like... This scene is not even in the movie. I don't know where the hell this come from. Like, this shit isn't in the movie. Well, they wanted Joe. Duke, I should say. They wanted Duke. Love Sergeant Slaughter. He makes the film for me. Sergeant Slaughter makes the film to me. There's Burgess Meredith. But yeah, Sergeant Slaughter, I love. This is for Duke. This is for me. I like some of the cadets. I like the basketball guy. It's in the hole. There you go. There you go. Get him, Sergeant Slaughter. Get the shit out of him. They didn't kill off Duke, which they were going to. Then they changed the last bit because they saw how many people were pissed off with Transformers. Because Duke was supposed to die, then they changed it last minute. And I mean, G.I. Joe, the movie, people want to see more Snake Eyes, more of Duke, but Sergeant Slaughter helped that. See, you need Sergeant Slaughter in Transformers the movie. Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Wonderful film. Love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Classic. Rest in peace, Bob Hoskins. I know there was always talks of doing a sequel, but I'm still surprised they never officially did a sequel. Again, there were talks of it, but that's actually Joel Silver. Fat Fuck Joel Silver as the guy there. And Roger Rabbit, the voice was it Charles Fleischer? I forget his name. He had actually a big role in the original Nightmare on Elm Street as one of the doctors doing the dream clinic study on Nancy. But yeah, rest in peace, Bob Hoskins. He did a wonderful job playing to something that's not there. And it's very creative, like cartoons and the real world with humans. It was a technical feat. And it was a risk. It was complete utter risk. Like, so much time and effort to put into this, and I would say, honestly, the closest successor is probably the new Rescue Rangers movie. Weirdly enough, it would never be as good as this, but like Bob Hoskins knew how to sell this object that's just not there. I know Eddie Murphy, I think Bill Murray were up for this role, and Bill Murray never answered his calls. And when he found out, he was pissed. I'm like, well, that's your fault, Bill Murray. And then Eddie Murphy, he said, no, what the fuck is this shit? And then when he saw it, oh, I felt like a dumbass. Yeah. But Bob Hoskins made this film work. I think it still would have been a hit if it was Bill Murray or Eddie Murphy, but Bob Hoskins had his time to shine, and he just... Now, he fit well. And Christopher Lloyd is the villain, Judge Doom. And Just a Rabbit, I mean... Oh, that's a deleted scene with the pig on his head. Oh, it was a deleted scene in the trailer there. But... yeah, Robert Zemeckis, with the success of Back to the Future, was able to get, with the help of Steven Spielberg, the ability to do this. But I know I wore them out. But yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a classic movie. And was a huge hit when it came out. Did very well. Universal. What do we got here? Sound like Al Pacino. What do we got? Back to the Future, of course. I just always think of this more of just a comedy than fantasy. I mean, it is fantasy, I guess, yeah. But I just always thought of it more as a comedy. The film that put Michael J. Fox on the map? Well, the TV show put him on the map, Family Ties, but movie-wise, he did Teen Wolf, and they wanted him, but he was too busy doing the TV show, so... And then I guess somehow he got Teen Wolf like they were able to do with that, but... Then they had Eric Stoltz, and that didn't work out, so then they got Michael J. Fox. It would not have worked with Eric Stoltz. Eric Stoltz, he's an actor that works in very limited ways. Michael J. Fox had that charm and that personality to make this crazy idea work, but make you relate to the character and like the character. This innocent charm to him with how just ridiculous this whole situation is and trying to maintain it. And he had great chemistry with Christopher Lloyd. Beautiful score by Alan Silvestri. Crazy plot, but it worked. It worked very well. I also like Back to the Future 2. Yeah, do you remember? Yeah, I remember. Love Back to the Future 2. I think as a kid, I always said Back to the Future 2 was my favorite. As the years go on, I probably say the first one's my favorite, but I love Back to the Future Part 2 because it's such an interesting sequel. Because it's a sequel that is unique. It goes into the future, which I loved how funny they make the future look. I love the creativity involved. You know, the flying cars, the holograms, the shoes that lace themselves up. It's a fun look at the future. Sadly, we passed that year and it never came to this. That's too bad. And the maker said there's no way we could guess it right, so just go for broke. But then you'd also go into the first film, and you go into an alternate 1985. There's so many different things you could incorporate into the sequel, and it's fairly ambitious. Then you go to the future, the alternate, and the present, and then the past. It makes for a pretty crazy adventure. And I would say Back to the Future is a funnier comedy, but this is definitely a much more interesting adventure because of all the different time periods and all the different things that happens to Marty McFly's character. And I thought it going into the first film was a very genius idea. I did in the same summer as Batman and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and so many other movies. It's just a packed summer. You don't get that kind of packed summer nowadays. It's about time. Yep. And still a huge hit. And they filmed it back to back with Back to the Future 3. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Alex Winter, Keanu Reeves. It's crazy. Like, this is a film that when it was made, rest in peace, George Carlin, these two worked so well. Noah's wife? Think of the pitch of this. I'm going to pitch you an idea for a film. Okay, what's the pitch? It's about these two guys in school, okay? Well, they go through time. Oh, like Back to the Future? Well, not really. It'd be kinda, but it's with a phone booth, not a car. A phone booth. Yeah, and then well, why are they going back in time? Well, they're going back in time because they're going to get historical figures for their book report because in the future they save the world. And if they flunk out of this class, then the future's at stake. Most bill, okay, goodbye. And then when the film was completed, this film was not going to be released. It was going to be just dumped or shelved. And then, they put this in front of people, screenings, people liked it. Orion gave it the chance. And it became a huge surprise hit. Unexpected hit. Very fun. Escapism. It's crazy. It's silly. It's goofy. But it's charming. It's very charming. Bill and Ted, Keanu and Alex Winter worked very well with each other. It's so sad what the fuck they did with the third Bill and Ted. And people praised it. I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? Bill and Ted Face the Beast sucked. And people said I was crazy. Guess what? No one talks about Bill and Ted 3 anymore. They did like a week after. Fuck Bill and Ted 3. I like the first two though. Touchstone Pictures. $1955. What is this? Oh, is this my science project? Yeah. Oh my god, my science project. Fisher Stevens is a lot of fun. I kind of wish his character was the lead, though. Dennis Hopper, I think, is one of those films he took as a paycheck. Again, I wish Fisher Stevens' character and his personality was the lead, because John Stockwell is so boring in this. I love the idea of My Science Project, how it screws up the school, but that only kind of comes until the third act of the film, and that's when the film really gets interesting. I wish more of the film was that nature, like the Tyrannosaurus and the way the school looks. That's where the entertainment really comes into play. But yeah, John Stockwell is just such a boring stick in the mud, with no charisma, no personality. This is why the trailer keeps featuring Fisher Stevens, because even the trailer knows that Fisher Stevens has more of the personality. It's like, why can't he just be the lead? And let's get to the school quicker. Like, the fantasy elements quicker. The Goonies. Rest in peace, Richard Donner, by the way. And the Goonies, fun adventure. I think a lot of kids, they wanted to go on an adventure like these kids did. They wanted to experience that. They wanted to... Likeable group of kids. Each have their charm to them. Sean Astin, Corey Feldman. This is when Corey Feldman was a better actor. I think he was a better actor as a kid than as an adult. Data, who was Short Round in Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. These kids worked well together. And see, Stranger Things, what makes this work, since Stranger Things wants to say it's inspired by stuff by the Goonies, it's these guys together, and the way they all interact with each other. Yeah, Chunk, he disappears, he off to his own thing, but the rest of them are still interacting with each other, playing off each other, deal with this adventure with each other, going through the same dangers and same ups and downs and the whole mystery. It's this adventure quality to it. Mostly anybody as a kid will love to have been through an adventure like this, despite the danger. It's almost as if they said, okay, let's do Indiana Jones, but with kids. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the initial concept. Indiana Jones, but with kids. That's a nice reference to Gremlins. The villains worked as well. I mean, you got Robert Davi, you got Joel Pantoliano, and of course, oh god, what's her name? From, the old mama from the train. And there's some stuff deleted from this. I know there's a whole octopus scene deleted and other stuff too. Executive produced by Steven Spielberg. Even a lot of the films Spielberg was producing, Roger Rabbit, The Goonies, Back to the Future films, even they were hits. Firewalker. Because this is here for the adventure quality. My personal favorite Chuck Norris film. Love Firewalker. I thought it was cool to see Chuck Norris sort of do his like first comedic type of role in this. I thought it was a nice change of pace, and he does. A lot of people give Chuck Norris crap for this movie. I liked him in this. You do get some nice fisticuffs. I think it was just nice to see Chuck Norris have fun, and I thought he worked very well with Louis Gossett Jr. And Melody Anderson, who was in Flash Gordon. I know she said that she liked working with Chuck. He was a nice guy. No, this movie does not have the budget of an Indiana Jones film. It was canon in the later years. But, oh, of course, this music is from King Solomon's Mines. The Jerry Goldsmith music from King Solomon's Mines. We're not dead yet. The bad guy here is Sonny Landham, who was in Predator. This bar fight is my favorite Chuck Norris fight scene because he kicks a lot of ass in that. And people going through glass and tables and... See, Firewalker just a fun... Yeah, those two work so well together. I don't care what anyone says. I love Firewalker. Gave Chuck Norris a bit more as a character to play off as. Oh, speaking of the Teen Solomon's Mines, here you go. Richard Chamberlain. I didn't see Teen Solomon's Mines till many, many years later. For some reason, I remember I must have seen just only bits and pieces. I'm like, I don't know. And then saw Alan Corman Lost City of Gold a lot more. So then I just assumed, well, that's the one I like more. And then when I saw Teen Solomon's Mines all the way through, I'm like, no, this film has a bigger budget. It feels like there's more stuff going on with it. Richard Chamberlain is having a lot more fun in the role. A bit more to do. With the dynamite and nice reflexes, guys. Nice reflexes. There you go. There's the scene. Richard Chamberlain's just having a lot of fun. Sharon Stone, from all stories, she was a pain in the fucking ass. Just like she was a pain in the ass in most fucking movies. And she only did this to try to get clout for the next one. And people didn't like her to the point they were in this like big pot, and apparently some of the crew pissed in it because, I'm like, don't do that. Like that big pot thing in the back there, which they fall in later. But it's like, don't do that. Richard Chamberlain's in there. But this one, you felt a bit more of the adventure quality compared to just the sequel. You see a bit more of adventure until they get to the Lost City of Gold, then the movie time just stops. But here, as a lower budget, no, it's not Indiana Jones quality, but it still has that adventure flavor. And funny enough, both of these films, this and Firewalker, has John Rhys Davies, who's in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And the same director, J. Lee Thompson. I didn't realize it was the same director. Yeah, Teen Solomon, if you like adventure movies like Indiana Jones, Teen Solomon's Mines is fun. Same with Firewalker. Ah, of course, Temple of Doom. I do enjoy Temple of Doom. I like all the Indiana Jones films. I like all of them. To me, there's not a bad Indiana Jones film yet. But now they're doing the 5th one. And technically, this is a prequel. Which is weird. I don't know why they decided to go to prequel. I know someone said so they don't do the Nazis again. You could still do it and not mention the Nazis. Because this story could still play. So it's just strange to do the prequel, but... I thought Short Round was a good sidekick. Kate Capshaw, a lot of people annoyed by her. I didn't mind her, but definitely not as good as Karen Allen. Great action scenes, great set pieces. The mine sequence, this whole thing on the bridge, bit darker, which was made more pretty interesting. Love that film. Okay, where's the first Raiders of the Lost Ark? First Raiders of the Lost Ark should be on here. Which is my favorite. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a classic. That should be on here. But these are good ones as well. Last Crusade. Great rapport between him and Sean Connery as father and son. Great addition to the cast. Once again, great, wonderful set pieces. That iconic music by John Williams. I'll probably say my favorite John Williams music is Indiana Jones. I mean, Superman the movie is close on others, but I'll probably have to say Indiana Jones. And my favorite Harrison Ford films is Indiana Jones films. Oh, yeah, I like all four of them, even the fourth one. But yeah, I don't know about fucking this fifth one. Last Crusade, I mean, some would say you only need 3 movies. I can understand that. I think The Holy Grail was a great choice for the plot MacGuffin. I did some really nice stunt work. Like hanging off the side of this tank and Wonderful Adventure. I did 89. Crazy summer for movies. Ghostbusters 2. Batman. Back to the Future Part 2. Lethal Weapon 2. Just insane. All the time. Great. We will see you guys later. Take care. Last Crusade, wonderful movie. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.